You won't believe what a billionaire CEO secretly left under a plate for a struggling single dad, and the shocking twist that followed will leave you speechless, so stay with me till the end. And hey, before we dive deeper, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more true kindness tales. It all started on a rainy Thursday evening inside a small, cozy diner tucked between two tall office buildings, where 32-year-old Ryan Miller worked double shifts just to keep the lights on at home for his 6-year-old son, Liam. Ryan was tired, exhausted, actually, but he never let it show on his face. With his short brown hair slightly messy from the long shift, a warm smile he forced even when he was drained, and a clean but faded uniform, he carried plates and wiped tables as though each task held purpose. That night, the diner buzzed with tired office workers and travelers brushing off rain from their jackets, but one customer stood out immediately, a tall, sharply dressed man in his early 50s, wearing a deep navy suit that looked more expensive than Ryan's entire apartment. The man kept checking his watch, sighing, flipping through emails on his phone, barely looking up when Ryan politely approached. "Good evening, sir," Ryan said gently. "Can I get you something to start with?" The man didn't respond at first, then simply said, "Coffee. Black. And whatever the special is." His tone was curt, but not cruel, more like he lived in a world of endless deadlines and forgotten small talk. Ryan brought the order as quickly as possible, trying not to disturb the man further. While setting down the plate, Ryan noticed how tired the man's eyes looked, despite his pristine appearance. He reminded Ryan of someone carrying burdens no one else could see. As the night went on, the billionaire, though Ryan had no idea who he was yet, ate quietly, barely speaking. When he finished, he stood, took out his wallet, placed a single dollar bill under the edge of the plate, and walked out without saying a word. Ryan's stomach dropped. A $1 tip, for a full meal, for excellent service. He needed every bit of income he could get, especially after receiving another overdue notice from the power company that morning. Still, he forced himself not to judge. Maybe the man had forgotten. Maybe he didn't know tipping culture well. Maybe he was stressed. Ryan sighed, picked up the plate, and lifted the dollar bill, and froze. Because underneath the dollar, folded tightly into a neat square, was a small note. His pulse quickened. Notes under plates rarely meant anything good. Was it a complaint? A demand? A criticism? With trembling fingers, Ryan opened the note. Only 6 words were written in neat handwriting: "Meet me outside. Trust me, Jay." Ryan's heart pounded. Who wrote that? What did they want? And why would anyone leave a mysterious note instead of simply speaking to him? For a moment, fear pricked at him. What if this was some kind of trouble? But something inside him, maybe a quiet whisper of hope or curiosity, urged him to step outside. He grabbed his coat, told his coworker he'd be right back, and walked into the cool night air. The rain had stopped, and the streetlights reflected on the wet pavement like shimmering glass. A sleek black car waited at the curb, engine running, and leaning against it was the same man from the diner. Except now, he wasn't staring at his phone. He was staring directly at Ryan with an expression that made Ryan's breath hitch, an expression of calm intention, as though he had been waiting for this exact moment. "I'm glad you came," the man said, slipping his hands into his pockets. "I wasn't sure if you would." Ryan swallowed. "You left me a note." The man nodded. "Because I need to speak with you. Privately." And just like that, Ryan realized this night was going to change everything. Ryan blinked at the sharply dressed man, his nerves tightening with every silent second that passed between them. The street was quiet except for the soft hum of the luxury car's engine, and the man's face, stern yet strangely thoughtful, remained unreadable. "First," the man said, "let me introduce myself properly. My name is Jonathan Hale." The name hit Ryan like a shockwave. Jonathan Hale, the billionaire CEO behind Hale Industries, one of the biggest tech companies in the country. Ryan had seen him on the news, on billboards, on online articles where people talked about his genius and ruthless business strategies. Yet here he was, standing on a wet sidewalk outside a tiny diner, after leaving a single dollar tip. "I'm sorry," Ryan said, struggling to find words. "I didn't realize." Jonathan lifted a hand gently. "No need. I prefer it that way sometimes." His voice softened just a little. "I wanted to talk to you because you did something tonight most people overlook." Ryan frowned. "Sir, I didn't do anything special." Jonathan tilted his head. "Really? Most waiters don't bother to smile when they're tired." Most don't pay attention to whether a customer looks exhausted, or whether they want peace. You treated me like a human being, not a walking paycheck. Ryan didn't know what to say. He never thought kindness was something worth noticing, it was simply who he was. But what about the $1 tip? Ryan finally asked, unable to hide the confusion. Jonathan smiled, a small, subtle upward curve that seemed rare for him. That wasn't a tip. It was the only way I could think of to get you to read the message without drawing attention. Ryan's chest loosened a little. Oh, well, that makes more sense. Jonathan continued, I watched you today. Not in a strange way, just in observation. You work hard. You care about your job. You treat people with respect. And I have a proposition for you. Ryan stiffened. Propositions from billionaires rarely meant something simple. What kind of proposition? Jonathan sighed, his breath visible in the cold night air. One of my personal drivers quit today without notice. I need someone reliable, someone with integrity, someone who understands hard work. Someone like you. Ryan blinked rapidly. Me? You want me to be your driver? Sir, I don't know anything about luxury cars or high-profile clients, you know kindness, Jonathan said firmly. Something too many people in my world forget. Ryan opened his mouth, closed it, then tried again. But why? You could hire anyone, someone with experience, someone polished. Jonathan looked down at the pavement, almost, just almost, looking vulnerable. Because I'm tired, Ryan. I'm tired of people who pretend to care just to get close to me. I want honesty, authenticity. I saw both in you tonight. Ryan's heart pounded so loudly he could hear it in his ears. A new job could change everything. It could help him pay bills, save money, give Liam a better life. But there was fear too, fear of stepping into a world so different from his own. May I ask you something? Ryan said quietly. Why were you so exhausted tonight? If that's not too personal. Jonathan hesitated. It's my son. Ryan's breath caught. Your son? Jonathan nodded. He refuses to speak to me. He's been distant for years. Tonight was supposed to be a dinner to repair things, but he didn't show up. For the first time, Jonathan's polished, powerful image cracked a little, revealing something deeply human beneath it. I'm sorry, Ryan said, sincerely. That must be hard. Jonathan nodded once. It is. But maybe this is a sign that I need to change the way I handle things. Starting with hiring people who remind me of what matters. Ryan looked at him, searching for any hint of hidden motive, but all he saw was genuine need. If you want the job, Jonathan added softly, it's yours. Ryan took a slow breath. His life was about to shift in ways he couldn't yet imagine. I accept. And as they shook hands under the dim streetlight, neither of them knew just how much that moment would change both of their futures forever. The next morning, Ryan woke at dawn, the sky a muted blue outside his apartment window as little Liam slept peacefully in his small bed, hugging his stuffed bear. Ryan dressed in his cleanest shirt and trousers, packed Liam's lunch, and dropped him off at school before heading to the Hale Industries Tower, a building so tall it made him feel like he was stepping into a different universe. The lobby was spotless, full of glass and marble, and every person who passed wore expensive suits and badges. Ryan felt out of place immediately, but he kept reminding himself, Jonathan chose him. That meant something. When Ryan reached the private garage, Jonathan's head of security greeted him and handed him a small binder. Your schedule and instructions, the guard said politely. Mr. Hale is very particular, but he respects those who work hard. Ryan nodded, grateful for the kindness. He spent the morning studying routes, procedures, and expectations. By noon, Jonathan arrived. He looked the same as before, sharp suit, composed expression, but something felt lighter about him today. Ready for your first day? He asked. Ryan smiled nervously. Doing my best. As the hours passed, Ryan drove Jonathan to meetings, appointments, and lunch briefings, staying polite and focused the whole time. Jonathan occasionally asked about Liam, about Ryan's life, even about the diner. It was the first time a boss had ever shown genuine interest in him. By late afternoon, as Ryan pulled up in front of the Hale Industries building again, he saw something unexpected. A teenage boy sitting on a bench, hoodie pulled over his head, tapping his foot anxiously. Jonathan stiffened. That's my son, Aaron. Ryan saw the tension in Jonathan's jaw, the uncertainty in his eyes, so different from the confident man who commanded boardrooms. Do you want me to give you both some space? Ryan offered. Jonathan hesitated, then nodded. But as Ryan stepped out to open the door for him, Aaron looked up, and their eyes met. The boy's face was pale, confused, emotional. "Dad," he said softly. Jonathan froze. The word meant everything. Ryan stepped back discreetly, trying to appear invisible, but still close enough in case he was needed. Aaron walked over slowly. "I'm sorry," he said, voice cracking. "I shouldn't have ignored you last night. I just didn't know how to face you." Jonathan swallowed, his voice thick with emotion. "You came today. That means more than you know." They stood in silence for a moment until Aaron held out a small envelope. "This is why I didn't come," he said. "I was scared to give it to you." Jonathan took it carefully. Inside was a handwritten letter, apology, frustration, longing, all poured out onto pages. Jonathan's eyes softened as he read. "Aaron, I've been so focused on work I forgot how to be a father. I'm sorry." Aaron nodded, tears slipping down his cheeks. "Can we try again? Maybe start fresh?" Jonathan didn't hesitate. He pulled Aaron into a tight embrace, one that looked overdue by years. Watching them, Ryan felt warmth spread through his chest. This moment, he thought, was the real tip. Not money, not opportunity, but helping someone find their way back to what mattered. When the embrace ended, Aaron glanced at Ryan curiously. "Who's he?" Jonathan smiled. A real, genuine smile. "Someone who reminded me what kindness looks like." Aaron nodded, offering Ryan a small appreciative smile. "Thanks, for whatever you did." Ryan shook his head. "Sometimes all someone needs is patience." Jonathan placed a hand on Ryan's shoulder. "You didn't just become my driver today. You became someone I trust." Ryan didn't know what to say. But he felt something shift, something like a new beginning weaving into his life. A week later, Jonathan asked Ryan to join him and Aaron for dinner at his private estate. The mansion was elegant but surprisingly peaceful, surrounded by oak trees that rustled under the evening breeze. Ryan arrived nervously, wearing his best shirt, while little Liam walked beside him, dressed neatly and holding Ryan's hand. Jonathan had insisted Liam join too, saying it would be a family evening. When they entered the dining room, Aaron greeted Liam like an old friend, immediately showing him a collection of model cars. Liam's eyes lit up, and Ryan felt his heart swell. Dinner was warm and simple, filled with laughter, shared stories, and moments of vulnerability. Ryan watched Jonathan interact with Aaron, gentler, more present, more human, and felt honored to have witnessed the transformation. After dinner, Jonathan asked Ryan to step into his study. Ryan followed, unsure of what to expect. The room was lined with shelves of books and awards, but Jonathan's expression was serious, almost emotional. "Ryan," he began, "you changed something in my life, something I didn't realize was broken." Ryan blinked. "I didn't do anything but my job." Jonathan shook his head. "No, you showed up with kindness when I had forgotten what that looked like. You treated me like a person, not a billionaire. You helped me reconnect with my son. And I want to help you, too." Ryan's throat tightened. "Sir, you already gave me a job. That changed everything." Jonathan smiled faintly. "Then allow me to make one more change." He handed Ryan a white envelope. Inside was a letter, an official offer to become Jonathan's full-time executive assistant, with a salary more than triple his current pay, full benefits, and housing assistance. Ryan stared at the letter, his heart pounding. "Sir, I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Jonathan replied gently. "Not because you owe me anything, but because you deserve the life this job can give you and Liam." Ryan's eyes stung with tears he fought to control. "Thank you," he whispered. "Thank you for believing in me." Jonathan extended his hand. "No, Ryan, thank you." As they shook hands, Liam ran into the room holding Aaron's hand, both smiling wide. Jonathan looked at them and said, "This is what life should look like: connection, kindness, and second chances." Ryan felt peace settle over him, something he hadn't felt in years. That night, as he drove Liam home, he thought about how a simple act of treating someone with respect had opened a door he never expected. And he knew, with certainty, that he would never forget the moment when a billionaire left a $1 tip that changed his entire world. So if you felt something while listening to this story, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more true kindness tales, because sometimes the smallest act of kindness becomes the turning point in someone's life.